He didn't stop dating because of one big heartbreak or a dramatic betrayal. There was no final argument, no slammed door, no moment where he swore off love forever. It happened slowly, almost invisibly, the way fatigue builds in the body when you've been carrying too much for too long. One evening, after another conversation that started with excitement and ended in silence, he stared at his phone and felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, just a deep, quiet tiredness. Dating had once felt hopeful. At the beginning, every match carried possibility. A new name, a new face, a new chance that maybe this time it would be different. But over the years, hope turned into routine. Swiping became automatic. Conversations followed the same pattern. People asked the same questions, gave the same half-interested replies, disappeared without explanation. He learned not to expect too much, yet somehow still felt disappointed every time. The cycle never fully broke. What bothered him most wasn't rejection. He could handle being told no. What wore him down was the constant uncertainty, the emotional limbo of not knowing where he stood. One day someone was warm and curious, the next day distant or gone. He replayed conversations in his head, searching for the moment he might have said the wrong thing, wondering if he had been too honest or not confident enough. Slowly, without realizing it, his self-worth became tied to how easily he could be replaced. He laughed it off when friends talked about dating struggles. He told himself this was just how things work now. But inside, he felt smaller. He noticed how he started censoring himself, how he tried to be more impressive, more relaxed, less demanding. He wanted connection, yet the process of seeking it was making him feel disconnected from who he really was. When he finally stepped away, it wasn't an act of rebellion. He didn't announce it to anyone. He simply stopped opening the apps. At first, the quiet was uncomfortable. Nights felt longer. There was no one to check in with, no one to send a goodnight message to, no one to imagine a future with, even briefly. His mind tried to convince him that this silence meant failure, that he was falling behind while everyone else moved forward. But as the days passed, the silence softened. The constant tension in his chest eased. He realized how much mental energy he had been spending on anticipation and disappointment. Without that drain, he felt clearer. He woke up without immediately reaching for his phone. He started noticing small things again, like how peaceful early mornings felt, or how good it was to finish a day without emotional confusion lingering in his thoughts. He began to fill his time differently, not to distract himself, but because he genuinely wanted to. He exercised because it made him feel strong, not because he hoped it would make him more desirable. He worked with more focus. He spent time with friends, without checking his phone every few minutes. He learned how to enjoy his own company in a way he hadn't since his younger years. There were still moments of loneliness. He missed intimacy. He missed being understood without having to explain himself. But those moments no longer felt desperate. They came and went like passing clouds. He didn't rush to escape them. Instead, he sat with them and learned that they wouldn't break him. With distance came perspective. He saw how often he had tolerated behavior that didn't align with his values simply because he wanted connection. How he had ignored his instincts. How he had given too much of himself too early. Stepping back allowed him to reconnect with his boundaries, to remember that his time and emotional energy had value. What surprised him most was the peace. Not the loud, exciting kind of happiness, but a steady calm that stayed with him. His mood no longer rose and fell based on someone else's attention. He didn't feel the need to prove himself. He felt grounded, self-contained, whole. This shift wasn't about bitterness or blame. He didn't think dating was broken or that love was impossible. He simply realized that forcing himself into a system that drained him wasn't brave. It was harmful. Walking away wasn't giving up. It was choosing well-being over validation. He noticed other men quietly doing the same, not loudly announcing their withdrawal, but focusing on their lives, their goals, their peace. Men who still believed in love, but no longer believed it should cost them their sense of self. One day, months later, he caught himself smiling for no particular reason. He wasn't waiting for a message. He wasn't hoping for attention. He was just present. And in that moment, he understood something important. Peace wasn't the absence of love. It was the foundation that love should be built on. If love returned to his life someday, it would have to meet him where he stood, calm, secure, and complete. And if it didn't, he knew he would still be okay. That knowing changed everything.